Hello everyone, nubkeks here. Welcome back to Nub Raids, and in today's video, we're going to be breaking down the Raid 15th, Plarium 15th anniversary Hero's Path in Raid Shadow Legends, which gives, well, it's actually an Arbiter skin, which is the top prize, the Jade Arbiter skin. So this is quite an interesting one in general. We're going to break down, obviously, as we always do, the different routes through how to min-max your resources. What is the most worthwhile way to go? What can you get out of it with your points? I would say the reward is very much an optional one though, right? The skin, it doesn't make you more powerful. It's an optional reward. I think it's a fun event, but this is something that is going to come down, like, do you want to go hard for the skin? Really entirely comes down to how much do you like the skin? For me, I'm not bothered. I've actually got the Dark Fallen skin and I got Lumaya's Prophet. I went kind of hard for that, I think, in a tournament or something like. No, actually, I think that was an easy enough one to get. I don't remember. Doesn't matter. But I do have this one, which is actually my preferred skin, so I don't really care. So I'm not going to go for the skin. But there are other nice things in here, which you might pick up. More so, though, I would say for this one as a bonus. What do I mean by that? Well, how do we get points for this? Well, number one, you get points for doing champion training. We have had a lot of champion training events recently. I think there's been 2 substantial champion training events in the last week alone. And of course, a new fusion is coming, though a lot of people are skipping that one as well. I would think from the looks of it, I am going to do it myself. I try to do every single fusion, of course. The couple of ones I skipped, I don't regret skipping Loriaka Great Hoof, but I do regret skipping Lanatharil. So I'm going to do this one for sure. But look, champion training might give you a chunk of points, like I already have. I already have 1,400 points just from doing a little bit of champion training since this launched, a few minutes ago, actually, while I was, working out the stuff for this video. The other big chunk of points is from summoning souls from soul stones. Now, obviously, Eternals are by far the strongest for points, but not recommended because of the soul event on right now. Immortals are quite strong, and Immortals are pretty poor, right? An Immortal is 15 times the points of Immortal. An Eternal is 75 times the points of Immortal. So, yeah. What am I talking about with this soul event that's on right now? Well, we have a 2x chance for 5 and 6 star, and they're perfect souls from Mortal and Immortal Soulstone. So there's no benefit for Eternals, no benefit at all, but Mortals and Immortals, they've got a nice boost. This makes it it's sort of like a 2x Ancients, or like 2x Primals like we just had, right? I think it's actually very similar vibe to the 2x Primals event we just had, which is, well, if I've got any Primals, it's a pretty good chance to pull them. And I can flip maybe a couple of cards in that deck of Fate, and that's nice, but I'm not going to be maxing it out or anything like that. I kind of feel like this Hero's Path, for a lot of people, is going to be somewhat similar. It's like it's a 2x event, right? If you have lots of these saved up, it's a pretty decent time to pull them, especially the Mortals, because the Mortals really aren't worth that much. Like, I guess actually if I add all of mine together, I've got sort of 2 Eternals worth of Mortals. I guess it does add up over time. But individually, they're not worth that much. The Immortals, you may want to hold on to some of those for future events, of course. But again, it's a good time to pull them. I would save Eternals. Obviously, for events, you can have souls be giving you points towards things like 5-star perfect soul guaranteed, or guaranteed champions and stuff like that. Like, they do show up from time to time in Heroes Paths with good rewards. I think a lot of people have been waiting for this 2x. So if you're pulling some, you might get some nice rewards. Let's look at them. So the first thing to look at, of course, is the big rewards. We have a Sacred for 25,000 at the bottom of the path, followed by an Arbiter skin for 25,000. Now, I will say right off the bat, like, is a Sacred Shard worth 25,000 points? That's what, 3 Eternal Soulstones? No, it's absolutely, like, an Eternal Soulstone is actually, I think, technically worth more than a Sacred Shard, right? So that's not worth doing in terms of the pulls, in my opinion. You're not getting a good return on your investment, unless you want to look at it like, I was going to pull them anyway, I might as well get a little bit of a bonus, but not great. Now, the skin, though, is different, and it's very subjective. How much do you value the skin? But, like, this is a skin you can't get any other way. This was in the shop before, I think for $40 or $50, I think. Maybe they then dropped the price to 25 or 30. I don't remember exactly, but this is rarely available. So if you really want this skin, then suddenly, yeah, this is much more worth it. If you don't want the skin at all, it's totally worthless. The cost of this path, though, I've therefore split into two. It's 69, nice. 1,500 for the entire path. And for this one, we're just going to go through this left-hand side. I don't think core hammers or rank charms are that valuable. The rank charms are nice, but I personally have a surplus of those, and I'm very scarce on rarity. And the core hammers, I think, are actually kind of worthless at the moment. So we're going to go this way. The medium pots are actually great from Sand Devil. They're really good. For whatever reason, there was a problem like this before with Faction Wars, where it didn't drop enough of one of the materials, and they fixed it. But we still do have a problem with Sand Devil and Shogun, where the medium pots, you're always going to be short on those, not the top pots for whatever reason. The medium pots are nice. A 6-star Chaos Ore, big pots from Sand Devil, the Chaos Dust from Sand Devil, the Sacred, and the Skin. Like I said, it's 69,500. For just the Sacred Shard, it's 44,500. It's quite a lot of points. Like, if I come in, I have, I think, about 160 mortals. So I have like 16,000 points worth of mortals. So I could not complete this even close to with all of my mortals. I think I added in my, I added in then my immortals. If I was to pull all of my immortals, I could just about get the Sacred Shard. But like, is it worth pulling every single mortal plus 20 immortal? That's like 160 mortals and 20 immortal soulstones for one singular Sacred Shard? No, obviously not. I mean, if there was an event where you could pull one Sacred Shard and get 160 mortal soulstones and 20 immortal, you'd be like, this is the best event of all time. Have they gone crazy? Am I going to get banned from the game for cheating? What's going on? So no, this is more like, okay, that might be a path you could take if you were pulling your soulstones anyway. And even pulling all of my mortals and immortals wouldn't be enough to get the skin. I'd have to be adding in a lot of champion training as well. So yeah, there you go. Right, the other path through this. So I've done 2 takes of this. I can't remember if I mentioned I'm like, did I mention champion training yet? Hopefully I did. Obviously, champion training is part of it, and that might be a decent chunk if you've got the time and the interest in doing so. But the red path, this is like the mythical skill tome path. So one interesting thing about this path, it's actually much more straightforward than the last path we saw was really tricksy. Like, how the heck did you get through it? It wasn't clear at all. This one is much simpler, much more clear. And one interesting thing, you do start with a key. The other key is sort of in the middle. It's actually not even that bad to get to the other key, but you can go down one of these sides to start off if you want, right? So maybe that's a way to go. The mythical path. We're going to go again, get the silver and energy. You can switch if you want that. Doesn't matter. Then we get an epic tome, open the lock with our key, a void shard, 6-star chaos ore, get ourselves a mythical tome. That red path is going to cost you 37,500. So again, it's very expensive. Over half the cost is within the mythical tome itself. But if you've been lucky enough to get yourself a mythical champion in the 2x primals, you might be looking for some of those mythical tomes. So it's something to consider if you've got lots of soul stones to pull anyway. The alternative path is the yellow one, which is the sacred shard version. So this one, I do think actually the rarity charms are really worthwhile. I'm always a bit shorter on those, so I would actually go core hammer rarity charms here. Epic tome, open the lock. There's actually a primal shard there, a 6-star mythical chaos ore, and then a legendary book. And now, funny enough, the price for this is almost the same. So this is 35,000, so it's almost the same. I mean, a primal shard is better than a void shard. Mythical chaos ore is better than legendary. So that's where the price increases really come from. Then the book is cheaper. But yeah, that's sort of how it works out. So similar, very similar sort of price. The tome is obviously nowhere near as good. But hey, look, you might still need a lot of legendary skill tomes, and you probably have champions that can actually use legendary skill tomes, and the mythical primal shard will help you to get a mythical eventually, so that's not a terrible option either. One thing also to note, if you do want to do both of these sides, it becomes, I think, very expensive. So let's say we go down the red side first, then we could hop over here, get the middle potions, which is great for Sand Devil, get the key, then we could come down this left hand side. But I mean, look, you're looking at, you put that together, you're looking at over 70,000. I think you're looking at 80,000, right? This is 8,000 points for this. It's approximately 80,000 points to get both sides. I just don't see that as being worth it at all. I think this is very, very much a an event where it's like, okay, you can go hard on champion training if you want to. But that being said, do you really want to? There are so many champion training events these days. Maybe you do, maybe you don't. I think this is mostly a good soul event. And depending on how many souls you've pulled, pick the best path and grab some rewards in this path. And of course, this might be the thing too, right? You might not have enough points to do all of this, in which case, yeah, look, grabbing some of these oils or whatever could be kind of worthwhile. You might be like, all right, you know what? I'll just grab those. I would definitely prioritize the middle oil as for the best easy to get reward. Just go like silver energy middle oil. Like that's pretty darn good. And you should probably do that with champion training. Like I think you'd be kind of crazy really not to do any champion training or souls at all. I think getting the middle oil is definitely worth it. Even the middle extract could be kind of worth it as well. And that's not too many points. Like I said, I've already got 1,400 from doing very little. So yeah, that would be what I'd recommend. So you can just dip in and get some smaller rewards. But if you're going to get close to these bigger point marks, then definitely consider going for it. And that's sort of where we are at. I will do another video pulling my souls, so stay tuned for that. I have a very, very, very good shard pull video, though, coming first. So stay tuned. You're not going to want to miss it. And tomorrow, I will do a CVC stream. I think I'll probably start early. So actually before CVC starts, perhaps. Because we're going away for a few days, just 2 or 3 days. My girlfriend and her parents and the dogs. Just chilling and renting an Airbnb out in the country and just taking a break from everything really. So that's just for a couple of days. But we're leaving tomorrow, so I've got to leave a little bit earlier than I usually would with my stream. So we might start a little bit earlier. It's just a regular CVC. It's not personal rewards, so we're gonna take it pretty chill. Now, if your clan obviously struggles for CVC points, you should of course wait to pull your souls for CVC. I am actually going to pull mine before CVC because our clan, it's usually like, oh, we're halfway through day 1. We've got too many points, guys, because, we're a bunch of hardcore Andes. It's like, all right, let's stop. Everybody stop. No more points. You're banned. And there's a lot of double point things like arena, faction wars, iron. Like, dear Lord, it's going to be hard not to get points for our clan. So I'm going to actually pull my souls early so we get the lowest amount of points possible. We just want to get this stuff here from tier 6. So we would get that and stop. But yeah, that's sort of where we're at. But I will be on tomorrow for a bit of a stream. And yeah, stay tuned for more videos coming soon. Thank you for watching, everybody. I will catch you all soon. Yeah. Let me know what you think about this path. Like I said, I think it's probably a bit too pricey overall, but I actually don't object to something like this. Just a very optional sort of path. Just like, okay, I like things for skins. I like skins. It's an optional thing. No power tied to it. It's just go for it if you like the aesthetic. But it's very, very optional. See you all next time. Goodbye.